I'm not a braggart or a boaster, but I told you, Kentucky's building something promising for the future of the SEC. Wildcats going to finish with the top 25 recruiting class. They're going to finish with the top 10 transfer portal class. Both of those were kind of expected. But in the midst of the fury and the chaos that is early signing period or the new national signing day, the Wildcats might have landed a cherry on top to close out their season on the right note. Let's talk about the recent commitment of Georgia linebacker Jamon Dumas-Johnson headed to Lexington. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus coaching searches, the transfer portal, anything going on with bowl eligibility, and a bunch of other nonsense that we call in our favorite sport, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts about JDJ strapping it up for the Wildcats in 2024. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, your best of bros, Kentucky fans, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we're on the race and so dang close to meeting my Christmas goal of 1,000 subscribers. But we're not done there. No, we're going to go for 5,000, then 25,000, then 50,000, and 100,000 is the ultimate goal. And I think we're going to get there. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. I call it Twitter. You can call it X, at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, the conversation of college football never has to stop flowing. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, JDJ is what I'm going to call him for the rest of the video because I don't feel like fumbling over words, is not your everyday linebacker. This is not just some willy-nilly thumper that's going to fill a gap and play well against run support and make a few plays in coverage here or there. No, this is a game changer. This is one of those players that when you look back 2 or 3 years from now and you see what your resume is and what your schedule and your standings were, you say, we probably wouldn't be here without that type of guy. And this is what Kentucky is continuing to do. They're loading up in the transfer portal. They're getting proven commodities, names that have been at high-profile programs that are ready to test the waters and become part of something special in Lexington at Kroger Field. JDJ is the difference maker. Yeah, you brought in Brock Vandagriff. Hopefully he works out with Liam Cohen. Yeah, you brought in Chip Trainum. Hopefully he is a really good complementary running back next season. And you brought in a multitude of wide receivers, and you're still going out looking at offensive linemen. This is the piece de resistance. You're losing Trevin Wallace this offseason. It's a big blow to the heart of that defense. Now, you maybe are upgrading. JDJ is a linebacker that at the start of the year was not just getting all SEC accolades, and he wasn't just getting considerations for the Buckus Award. No, he was considered a first-team All-American, and he was a finalist for the greatest linebacker in college football of 2023. So this is not your show blow schmo coming into Lexington and just filling a gap. No, this is a guy who's going to fortify your defense, and potentially you're upgrading. He also comes from a winning pedigree. That is very important when it comes to setting a standard for any locker room. Kentucky wants to be that team that's contending for a college football playoff spot. They want to be alongside the Missouris and the Texas A&Ms and the Tennessees of the world and say, we know that we're not going to be elite like Alabama on the recruiting trail, but damn sure we're going to land some 4 stars. Damn sure we're going to work the transfer portal in our favor. And this is what you do. Get players from backgrounds that they know how to win. And JDJ is not leaving Athens, Georgia because of, oh, he's a bad player. That's the notion that I think a lot of people get with when it comes to major programs is they say, well, why is he leaving a school if he's already at the peak of college football? Plain and simple, the talent below him is really good. CJ Allen was a superstar this year, human highlight reel, and he's got 3 more years of eligibility to show everybody in college football he could be the next great linebacker that comes from Athens. He could be the number 1 player that we're talking about in 2026 when the NFL draft runs around. So JDJ, instead of hurting his draft stock and looking at the grand scheme of things, now heads to Lexington. He's going to fortify a defense underneath a defensive-minded head coach in Mark Stoops. And also, he's going to be your leader in the locker room. He's going to set the tone in practice. He's going to demand excellence from everybody around him. And once again, here we go. Talking about Kentucky, there is a notion that I have in the world of college football, which probably is a little different than other people on YouTube. I like to think that you may not be able to recruit at the elite levels. And there's a lot of programs that do this. A lot of programs that just find a way to bring in 5-star talent and build that type of structure. Alabama's one. LSU is one. Georgia's one. USC should be one, but they're not. Ohio State's one. Michigan's one. I'd even throw Clemson and Florida State in the mix. But then there's the programs that go ahead and fortify their rosters and add in talent via the portal that they know are ready to work. That is where you look at a school like Kentucky or Missouri or Ole Miss. Anyone can go to Alabama and sit the bench for 2 years, and anyone can go to Ohio State and never find a way to make it onto the field. And we see that once they go to a different university, immediate production starts picking up. Like Jamison Williams went to Ohio State and was cast aside because of all the other great wide receivers and pass catchers that already were hailed in Columbus. Well, then he goes to Alabama and he has one of the greatest seasons we've seen from a wide receiver in a hot minute and becomes a first-round pick. You've seen this everywhere, from Ole Miss to Missouri to Wisconsin to NC State. These are programs that fortify their rosters by going in the transfer portal and getting proven commodities and names that can be immediate day one contributors. And after that, you start dreaming of 10-2 seasons. And 10-2 may not be good enough to make a 14 college football playoff, but it damn sure is going to keep you involved when it comes to a 12-team CFP. And that's what you get with JDJ. A proven leader, a man that's going to command excellence on the field, and somebody who is going to fortify your defensive front and make you an impenetrable force. Not to mention with what you added in offensively. I mean, Jamori Macklin, that's a number one vertical wide receiver downfield. Raymond Cottrell, untapped potential coming out of Texas A&M. One big play, but that play went for 6 points into the end zone. Not to mention Chip Trainum, what you're going to get with Liam Cohen now working with Brock Vandagriff, and you're not done. That's the best part about Kentucky right now. They're worried about making sure that they keep as many commits on their roster today as possible. But then when you can go out and land a premier talent like a guy such as JDJ, you can take that 10 times out of 10. In fact, I would say you probably never will pass up on a talent like Jamon Dumas-Johnson. Kentucky, I'm telling you, they know what they're doing. They understand that this is a year where they can fortify themselves and put them right at the precipice of alongside those other tier 2 schools in the SEC. Ole Miss, they started making moves. Missouri started making moves. And Kentucky's sitting there and they're like, listen, we may not be a 5-star talent roster when it comes to landing players via the recruiting trail. But if you want to come work your ass off and prove to the world that we can be a solidified team, you come to Lexington. You plant your boots down right here on this grass, and you make sure that every time you step out on Kroger Field, you are giving a performance of a lifetime. And that's what Kentucky's doing. Landing premier talent, and JDJ is the icing on the cake. This is what you want when you're trying to compete alongside the powerhouses in the SEC. And lo and behold, Kentucky might sneak in a few wins here and there next season to where 8-4, that's a thing of the past. Now we're talking about 11-1. Now we're talking about trips to Atlanta potentially being on the radar. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.